Hello everyone and welcome to this video of Adobe Premiere Pro, where today in this lesson we're going to learn about our first project, which is text animation. So let's not waste any time and get right into it. So now over here you can see that we have our panels ready in order to make our text animation. Now the first thing we need to do is basically go to sequence and create a sequence. Okay, now we can either do that or just go over here in the new item, then select sequence. Okay, after that we will see that a new sequence panel pops up where we can select our various amount of sequence that we need for our text. Okay, for now I'm not going to use any so that I can just basically show you how to do it without any sequences first. But if you still want to choose a sequence, go to this option over here for the new item, choose the sequence settings based on the specifications of your background footage, and then do it. You can also choose your resolution, frame rate, and etc. from there. Okay, let's go ahead to the next part where we have to add our text. Now before adding our text, we actually need a background. Okay, so for that first we will create a background. So for that first we need to go to new item over here. Okay, then we will go to color matte. Now make sure you're in the project panel when you're using the new item bar, and then select color matte. Okay, over here go ahead and adjust whatever settings you need for your color matte video, time base, etc. Okay, and after that let's just click on OK. All right, now let's go ahead and pick a color for our video. So now let's say I want a dark hueish color, so I'll select this. Bit lighter would do better. Okay, this is good. All right, now let's click on OK, and then we'll choose a name for our new matte. It's okay. All right, now you can see that we have our color matte ready in order for use in our timeline. Now what we'll do is basically click and drag and drop it on our timeline panel. Okay, make sure you move from the project to the timeline panel. If you place it anywhere else, it won't work. All right, after we are done, you'll see that our project panels color matte has come to our timeline panel, and afterwards you can go ahead and trim the duration you want this to happen. Okay, let's say I want it about 10 seconds. Okay, let's press Z. Using the zoom tool, we'll zoom out. There you go. Now you can see that this is more than 10 seconds, which is exactly what I want. Now what I'm about to do next is basically put a vignette on our color matte. So for that we have to go to Windows, and then we have to go to Lumetri color. Okay, over here, and after that you will see that we have a Lumetri color pop up. Now make sure you select the color matte layer, and then over here we can select the vignette. Okay, we'll go over here, select vignette, and here we can select the amount of vignette that we want, the midpoint, the roundness, and feather. I'll go through them so that you can understand what happens. Now if I select amount, you can see that this is what happens. Okay, if I increase it, it becomes light. If I decrease it, it becomes darker. Now let's go ahead and put our vignette to 1.9. okay, after that let's fix the midpoint, the roundness, just put it to 44.8, and then the feather. Okay, the feather will basically help us to distinguish the vignette from our colors. Okay, there you go, that's best. Now after we are done with vignette, we can go ahead to our next part. Okay, So let me just close this panel. All right. Now, what we'll do next is use the text tool on our tool panel. I'll just go ahead and press T on your keyboard, which is the shortcut for our text tool. Okay. And after that, make sure you select this layer and then go ahead and select our program monitor and type the words that you need. Okay. For example, I type over here animation. Okay. Now afterwards, if you like need to move it or to scale its position anywhere, just use the selection tool, move it to the middle. Okay. Right. If you want to edit the text as you've put in, again, just double click on it as usual. All right. So now what we will do is make sure you use the selection tool and select our text layer over here, as you can see. Okay. And then we will go to Windows. After that, we will go to Essential Graphics. Okay. All right. Now, after we come to Essential Graphics, we can go over here and select the alignments that we need. All right. We can also toggle an animation for it, but I won't do that now. I will show you a more effective way of animating your text, unlike the last video, which was a basic animation. Now, what we'll do is basically go over here and add some text formats to our text. Okay, so let's change the font first and make it look something serious. Now, this looks a bit too funky. Let's choose something else. Let's choose this one. Okay, so now that we have our word ready, let's resize it a bit. Okay, let's put it in the middle, just like that. And we can also put italics, but I don't want it, so I'll just put regular. And over here, we can increase the font size without using a selection tool to do it. Okay, after that, select both of them so that they're aligned perfectly at the center. Okay, we can also increase the tracking a bit, right? And again, no, this does not need to happen. After that, let's fill in the stroke. Let's fill in the color, not the stroke. So let's say I put in a bit of, no, let's just put in white for now. Let's just add the stroke color. So for stroke color, I'll put in a okay, and then we can also add a shadow and background, but I will not do that now. Okay. Now that after we are done with adding the changes to our text format, all right, what we will do this time is basically go to the effects panel. All right, so in order to do that, we can just go to window on our menu bar and then go to effects. All right, afterwards, what we'd like to do is search for basic 3D, or just go over here in video effects and find it there. But I actually prefer you go over here and just type in basic 3D. And here you can see that in perspective, we have basic 3D over here. Now what we'll do is click and drop it right on our animation. All right. Now what we'll do is after this, go to FX control. So fixed control is right over here, and you can see that basic 3D is added over here. Okay, now in basic 3D, first thing that we have to do is basically select the tilt here to be 90 degrees. So let's type in 90, press enter, and afterwards we have to select an icon to enable keyframes over here. So what we'll do is, here you can see that we have this. Okay, so we have to select this icon to enable keyframes. Okay, then I'll move the playhead a little forward, and let's say I set it up till here. Afterwards, let's say let's add another keyframe over here, and then select the keyframe, and for this keyframe I want it to be 2 into 0. Okay, just mind that, 2 into 0. Okay, press enter. What this will do is tilt it 2 times. Okay, now to make your letters come in smoothly, what we'll do is we'll right click on the second keyframe over here and then select ease in. Okay, select ease in. All right, now you'll see when I play this video, this is what happens. Okay, now we can also move the keyframe a little back. Let's do this and play it. Now you can see that it moves a bit faster. Okay, all right, so this is the first animation that we'll do. Afterwards, we will select this option over here on tilt. Okay, and we will rotate fast at the beginning and then stop gradually. So in order to do that, you can see that over here we have this option to select the curve. What I can do is increase the time a bit. Okay, then here you can select the curve and then basically do this. And now if I play it, you'll notice that it's slow, right? But I can just go over here and basically click on this part on the curve, go back and check out what happens. Okay, it increases in speed gradually. So what I'll do now is again shorten the time for this animation. All right, that's what I wanted, and now you can see that this is perfect. Okay, let's go back over here. Right, and make sure you select animation. Now we will select a crop effect from our essential graphics panel. So let's go over here. Go to effects, then select crop. Okay, and then you can see crop is over here. We'll just select it and drag and drop it onto animation. Okay, afterwards you can see that we have this crop option. All right, okay, now what we'll do first is go over here and use the crop so that it just shows the first alphabet. Okay, I want it to move further to the right. Now if I play, this is what it will look like. Okay, so let's go over here and just put in a crop. So let's go to crop. Okay, so we'll go over here to crop and then go to the first word. We'll just crop out the first word over here. So let's go ahead and go to the right side, and afterwards let's just increase it. There you go, we have our A ready. Okay, And now what we'll do after this is basically add a directional blur. Okay, so for doing that, we have to go to the text option over here, our effect libraries, and then select directional blur, or type in directional blur first. And you can see that here directional blur has popped up from video effects, blur and sharpen. Let's just select it, and we can also drop it over here or drop it over here. It's the same thing. Okay, after that, you'll see that directional blur has come over here, right there. Okay, now what I want to do right now is add the blur length. Okay, so for adding the blur length, first I have to go over here, click on that, and then I want to set the blur length to 20. So let's click on 20 over here, plus enter. Right, now what I'd like to do is go over here again to the part where I'm going to use the tilt. Okay, so tilt, and I want to reduce the time for that. So let's play the video to see what happens. Okay, now here the blur stops. I mean, the letter stops rotating. So over here, what I want to do is go here, and for our animation, go here and then basically create another keyframe over here. First keyframe over here will be basically 20. The second keyframe over here will be 0. Okay, so now let's play to see what happens. That seems to be a bit of problems over here. Let's put it right over there. Let's play it now. And there you go. Our words are being animated perfectly. Now what we'll do is basically go over here and then copy this and go over here and paste it. So my bad. Let's do it again. Let's go over here and paste it. Afterwards, what I'd like to do is put this on the top. Okay, now over here, what will happen is basically we will go and play the moment up till which A comes. Okay, let's go ahead and move it there. Let's see what happens. Okay, now for this part, what I'd like to do is basically here. So what I can do is go again and basically move this a little more to the right frame, like 4 frames to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now now what I have to do is head over to effect controls again, and then for crop I'll adjust it so that only one alphabet comes at a time. Okay, so let's go ahead and adjust this. Let's make sure they are on. Let's turn this off for now. There you go. We can see our N from here. So select N, and then on the right, just increase it until we can only see the N. Yep, we are done. Okay. Yes. Okay. So now what will happen is we will go again and copy this layer again. So I'll copy it and then I'll paste it again, or just press Alt on my keyboard, select, drag it, then put it up here again. And since we know over here we have this N over here, afterwards you can see that nothing is being shown. Let's go back. Now if I play the animation, you'll notice that do this, let's play it. Okay, now if I play the animation, you can notice that there is a bit of problems over here. So what I'd like to do is basically first unblink, sorry, move the snap and timeline, move it a bit forward. It's about 6 frames, and I want to do the same thing for that. There. Now if I play it, you'll notice that the words come one by one. Okay, so this is the effect that I wanted. Now in the third frame, I want the word I to come, so let's do this again. Okay, so Control C, or just Alt copy. Okay, and afterwards what we do is go over here. We will have to crop out this time the I, so let's go ahead and crop out I. There you go. Let's put this one at 60. Now my eye is perfect. Okay, and from the left side, I want it a bit. Okay, I need to turn these off in order to see properly. So there you go, 37. Okay, so then I'll again press copy, do this again here, and this time I want the M, so I'll go over here and go to the crop, right there. Now, if I play it, yes, let's do that. Okay, and now I'd like to do is the next word, which is A. So let's cross this part out so that we can easily see what we're doing. Okay, and afterwards we're done with this part, so let's just press Alt and copy this. We can do this also, which makes our work a bit easier, as you can clearly see. Okay, then let's just press Alt and copy it. Make sure you're adding the frames proportionately. Okay, so let's press Alt, copy it. Put this part out. Okay, so now if you play the whole thing together, you'll notice that, just do all of them so that we can see them. Now let's play the animation from the beginning. Okay, there seems to be missing. No, I did it correctly, so let's do it again. There, you can see that this is perfect, and then later on it just goes off. So now what we'll do is go over here, okay, at the top, and now we'll create another text using our type tool. So the next text I want to create is, but before doing that, what I'd like to do is select all of them and increase their size, okay. So let's select all of them. Oh, I have to select snap in timeline so that it's easier for me to like snap it in place. Okay, and over here, there. Now we are done. Now if I go back and play it from the beginning, all of them will not disappear and they will stay, okay. So now what I'd like to do is right after the animation is done over here, right there, I want to add in a second word saying text, okay. Now let's use the text tool over here and go here and type in text. Okay, after that I can just go over here, use the selection tool, click and drag it to make it big, then place it anywhere inside my, let's go to essential graphics, and for text over here especially, what I'd like to do is line it properly. Okay, and now that I'm done, let's go forward and fix this part. I think I might have made a mistake over here. So what I'd like to do first is go over here and create another track. And then use the type tool over here. Okay, and write in text. All right, now I'll use the selection tool again and move it to the right position. There you go. Okay, now I can again go to essential graphics and fix whatever I need. Let's remove this. Now that looks better. Press OK. Vertically align it. Right. Now afterwards, what I will do is go to effects control. So I'll go to effects, and then over here I want to go on and type the directional blur, but it already seems to have it, so I'll just click and add it over here again. And now what I want to do is create a 90-degree direction, so I'll type in 90. Okay, and I want the blur length to be at least this much. Okay, now what I'll do right now is create a keyframe over here. Okay, first I need to create a keyframe in the beginning, and afterwards I'll go over here and just select another keyframe over here, and I want to put it as 0. My bad, this is the direction, not the blur length. Let's put a blur length keyframe first, and then go over here, select another blur length keyframe by adding that, and then over here I want to put it at 0. Okay, now if you play the video, you'll notice that the text becomes visible after some time. Then again, we'll click on this keyframe, right click, and then select ease in. Okay, so that it forms a curve while it is trying to go in. Now if I go over here, you can see that this is what the curve looks like. Okay, now this is what I exactly want. Okay, all right, this is why you put ease in. Okay, so that it forms a smooth curve instead of a sharp line, just as you saw before. Now if I play it, you'll see that it comes in slowly and it's perfect. Okay, this is exactly how I want it to be. Let me just go over here and adjust it to our video over here. Let's select the magnetic snap. We are done. Okay, now afterwards what we need to do is change the opacity for our second text over here. So for doing that, we just have to go down here, and here you can see opacity. Okay, let's go back in front, and first we need to put the opacity option on, and I will select over here my opacity to be 0, and afterwards I'll create another keyframe over here to create my opacity up to 100%. Okay, now if I play the video, you will notice that the text comes in perfectly, just the way I wanted it to. All right, okay, now what we will do is basically select all the texts that we have done up till now. Okay, so since this is too big, I can just press shift and select all of them one by one, just like that. Okay, and then right click. After that, I'll just select nest. Okay, now over here we can type down the nested sequence. So here I'll write down animation text and then press OK. Now if I go down from the beginning, you'll notice that this is what it looks like, and it's pretty good. All right after my text has appeared, you know, this last sentence, right after that, I want to add in the Premiere Pro logo. Okay, so for doing that, what we have to do is basically go to the frame where it exactly finishes first. Right there. Okay, so it's 5.39 seconds, or 5 seconds and 39 frames. All right, now after we do that, we can just go over here. Okay, before I add in logo, I want to add in a shadow, and then I want to go into the effects library over here, and then I'll just type in drop shadow there. Okay, so I'll just select it and put it inside the animation text. After that, we will see in effect controls, we have drop shadow. Okay, now we can increase the opacity as much as we want. Let's also change the direction, as you can clearly see. And then we can also increase the distance of our shadow. Okay, let's change the direction a bit. Done. And we can also increase the softness or the feather, as you can clearly see, for our shadow. Let's put in a little softness. All right. After that, we are done making our shadow. So let's go on to the next part. Let's apply a basic 3D again. So let's go over here and type in basic 3D there. Click and drag it over here. Afterwards, in basic 3D this time, I want to add a swivel. So I will first have to click on this option over here. Okay, for swivel. And here I want to set my swivel to 270. So let's type in 270, press enter. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, and then we will select a second keyframe over here. Let's delete this. Let's select the second keyframe over here. And here you can see that my animation is working on this. Okay, let's just move it a bit forward. Here I want to put it at 0. Okay, here I'll just delete this. Now this is how you add the swivel for our text, as you can clearly see. Okay, make this part a bit bigger. Okay, so let's go over here and put the swivel to 0 for now. right? So now what I'll do for this part is basically add the logo next. Okay, now again, we will go in and put in a keyframe over here. First will be a 0, and then we'll just go over here, create another keyframe, and for this one, select it, and then let's put it at 270. Just like that, okay? So it is doing a 270-degree turn, and right at the end, you can see that it goes away, all right? So what I want to do is here, I want to right click and then select ease in, okay? So that it forms a curve, just like I explained to you last time. And now what we need to do is put in a directional blur. So let's go over here and select directional blur, put it in this text. Afterwards, what we need to do is select the previous key points that I made with my swivel over here, basic 3D, and then I want to put the blur length from 0 to 180, or sorry, 0 to 180 for my blur length. Okay, so first I have to go over here, create a blur, then go over here, create another keyframe, and this time for this one I'll select it and put it 180, just like that, or 181, it also is the same. And then we can also go over here in our direction and put a direction over here. So let's select it, create a key point or keyframe, and put it as 90. Okay, now you can see that this is what happens. Okay, after our text comes, it will swivel, then go away. And now this is the time where I will basically set in my logo. So just before it goes away, okay, just after it goes away, over here, let me go ahead and set a marker right there. I've set in a marker. All right. Now over here, what I want to do is basically put in my logo. So now I will select my logo from here in the project, okay, Premiere Pro icon. Go ahead and add it to my timeline right there. And you can see it magnetically fixes itself. Okay, now you can see that it pops up just like that. Now I don't want it to pop up. I want it to swivel, blur, and then pop out. Okay, so for that, first I'll select this. And then what I'm about to do is basically put my marker over here at the beginning. Okay, now I want to add in a 3D effect. So I'll go over here and type in basic 3D. Essential graphics, my bad. Effects. Okay, and then select basic 3D, put it in there. Okay, after I have basic 3D done, you can see that I have a swivel over here. Okay, now I'll select the swivel. Okay, and over here, I want to put my swivel to 90. Just 90, okay? And I'll move in like 2 or 3 frames. And then I'll go over here, put another keyframe. Then this time I want to put in my swivel. Okay, select the keyframe first. Put in my swivel to 1 into 0. So 1 into 0. Okay. And then we can add the directional blur as well. So let's go over here, type in directional blur. There you go. Select that, put it in here or even in here. Both is okay. All right, now for directional blur, we have to set the direction to 90. So go over here, set it to 90. And then we will do blur length from here. Okay, let's add in the direction. And then for blur length, we'll put one marker over here. Okay. And right after it stops over here, we'll put another marker over here. And then for the first marker over here, I want to put it as 180. And in the second marker, I'll go over here and put it at 0. Okay. Now I'll right click over here for the second marker and then say ease in. Also for our swivel, ease in. Okay. Now if I play the video, you will see that, yeah. So this is how it works. Okay. Now I'll make it just like that. And let's see the whole video again. Okay, there seems to be a problem in this part over here. So let's go ahead and try to see what's wrong. Oh, okay, it's all right. It's all right. Nothing is wrong. Okay, so now after this, we can also add a shadow to this part. So let's go ahead and type in drop shadow, select it and put it there. Afterwards, we can go over here and select the shadow opacity, the direction, the distance, just like that, and the softness. Okay, now that we are done, let's go ahead and export this video. Okay, but before that, I'd also like to add in a music to this. So let me add in a music. শালা তাও রেকর্ডিং করতেছি, পজ করে না। The heck, man? Okay, now I have an audio. Let me just put it first in my source over here so that I can select a specific time. And now I know over here at the end of the video, it is like 11.28 frames. So I'll select it as well over here. Select 11.18. And now what I'll do over here is basically go to these three parts, make them a bit bigger so that I can use the pen tool. Okay, let's press shift and select all of them. Wait a bit, trim them a bit bigger. Just up to here. Okay, and this time I want to use the pen tool over here. Create a point right there, another one right there. Let it go down just like that. There, okay. Now I can use the selection tool over here. Select this point easily. Right click, ease in. Select this, right click, ease in. My bad, ease in. Okay. All right, now that we are done, let's go forward and export this video so that we can see what it looks like in the end. Now, in order to import our media or export our media, we have to go to File over here, then select Export, okay, and then select Media. Afterwards, Premiere Pro would automatically ask us a section over here, okay. All right, then we can just click on Export after selecting all of these. All right, now let's see what the result is.